The city of Esfahan is one of the oldest cities in the world, with a history going over 2,000 years, and is home to multiple UNESCO heritage sites such as Meydan-e-Shah and Masjid-e-Jame. There's not much information about the early origin of the city, but there is evidence that Esfahan was one of the important cities in the Iranian plateau even before the settlement of the Medes in the area from 530 BC. Esfahan was on the intersection of the main trade and communication routes of the ancient times. The commercial communication of this area with other districts played a crucial role in the survival and growth of the city. This video explores the urban developments identified for Esfahan during 4 major periods. First, the satellite villages. Second, the amalgamated and walled town. Third, the metropolis. And the fourth, the modern Esfahan. First is the satellite village stage. In the mid-6th century, which is the beginning of the Islamic era, the city of Esfahan consisted of 2 towns, Yahudiye and Jey, located about 2 miles apart. Each had their own governments, ruling the town and the surrounding villages. Yahudiye was a small settlement from the Sassanid era and is believed to be the place where Jews exiled from Babylonia chose to settle in. Jey was smaller than Yahudiye and had a typical Sasanian circular design with defensive outer walls and inner fortification. It had 104 towers and 4 gates located in alignment to the summer and winter solstices. When Arabs invaded the country in the mid-7th century, they built the first mosque in Jey as a symbol of their victory. Second is the amalgamated and walled town stage from the early Abbasid period, from about 770 AD to the start of the Safavid period in 1501. The socio-political changes in the country during the 7th to 9th centuries resulted in connection of the villages and the 2 main towns. Then during the Boyid period in the 10th century, a wall with 12 gates was built around the unified city. This is very likely to be an imitation of the Roman cities. The last remaining parts of this wall were unfortunately destroyed during the contemporary urban renewals in the 1990s. Once the city was surrounded by the walls, it was divided into several neighborhoods. The first 4 neighborhoods were Jubare, Karan, Dardash, and Kushk. Third is the metropolis phase. During the Safavid period, Esfahan became one of the world's greatest capitals. Beginning in around 1590, Shah Abbas I added new elements to the old fabric of the city by extending it to the south and towards the Zayanderud River. The new elements consisted of Meydan-e-Shah, Masjid-e-Jame, a promenade called Chaharbagh, which extended from north to south of the city, and 2 bridges over Zayanderud. These new elements were noteworthy not only because of their enormity, but because of the perfect geometrical compositions in their design. The highlight of perspective and consideration of 3-dimensional spaces in the design of these new structures is similar to what was happening almost simultaneously in Renaissance cities. At the same time, Chaharbagh Promenade, extending from north to south, and the Zayanderud River from west to east, formed the 2 main axes of the city. These 2 main axes, which can be interpreted as the spine of growth of Esfahan over centuries, seem to be the Persian equals of the Qada and the Komnenos in the Roman city. Meydan-e-Shah and its nearby mosques and palaces seem like a perfect translation of the Roman Forum. Sitting close to the main 2 axes, Meydan-e-Shah became a place for social and political activities. With the invasion of Afghans in 1722, the Safavid dynasty collapsed and Esfahan experienced years of urban stagnation. From the fall of the Safavids to the end of the Qajar era, not many physical changes were made to the city. Isfahan lost most of its population and the urban life faded away from the new neighborhoods. Fourth is the contemporary period. In the beginning of the 20th century and during the Pahlavi period, the cities of Iran encountered significant transformation, population growth, and major bureaucratic reforms during the 1930s. An expansion of Isfahan's industrial potential transformed the shape of the city. The emergence of motorized transportation led to the introduction of road building programs under the country's Third National Development Plan. The most important holistic change in the Isfahan's texture was the transformation of linear form of the main structure to a rectangular network of streets with almost the same physical emphasis. The function of bazaar and maidan as the main public spaces of the city faded away. The grid of modern streets attracted most of the urban activities. As a response to the growing problems of a growing city, Iran's government initiated the New Town Strategy in the 1970s to house the surplus population and to shift the industrial activities to the new towns around the cities. After the 1979 revolution, the New Town Strategy was halted for about half a decade. A new master plan for Isfahan's region was approved by the Iran's Urban Planning and Architecture High Council in 1986. The New Town Strategy after Islamic Revolution was again followed as a section of the 25-year master plan. This concludes the exploration of Isfahan's urban development from its beginning as two separate towns with satellite villages, through a period as a walled city, then as a growing metropolis and capital, and finally as a modern planned city. Thank you.